What is up, guys? Welcome back. It's Sunday. Beautiful weather outside today. Remember yesterday it was like 0 degrees, it was freezing. Now literally like 12 hours later, it is, okay, let's say 24 hours later, it is like 10 degrees, much warmer. Yeah, that's what happens in Switzerland. One day it might be 0, the next day it might be sunny, 15 degrees. People walking around in t-shirts. Yesterday they went skiing. C'est la Suisse, baby. That's how we do it. I read this book, Money by Tony Robbins. You probably know it. And yesterday I was thinking about, you know, the concept that he explains in the book, that your ultimate goal in life is to serve a purpose, to be useful for the world, for the people around you, or for anyone really. And that you should always give more before you want to receive. So, you know, a lot of people, including me, I was always thinking, you know, the world owes me something, or the universe owes me something. But that's not true. You always have to put out first before you receive. I think a lot of people walk through life with the imagination that there is more bad than good people. But that's honestly only that happens because of law of attraction. If you think that there is more bad than good people, then you attract more bad than good people. Maybe some people will call me naive, but the thing is, I'm really optimistic and I believe that there's way more good people than bad people. And I personally have experienced it that way, because not always, you know, when I was a kid, I was surrounded by a lot of bad people, but that was not my fault, because as a kid, you're just born into, you know, as a kid you can't actively decide. Like as a kid you don't understand the law of attraction, but as an adult you understand it, and I believe in it. And therefore I only attract good people, because that's what I give, that's the energy I give from myself, and this only attracts good people. And if I ever encounter somebody that's negative, I know, and I can cut that person off. And it comes down to how you view the world. I'm not trying to brag, saying, you know, I only attract good people. This shouldn't be meant as a brag, but it's true. If you have the right mindset, this is what you get. And what Tony Robbins does, or what he did, is, I think he still does it. He every, I think, Christmas, he saved money. Even back when he was poor, he saved money and gave it to families that were in need. Because when he was a kid, his family didn't have money to buy a Christmas dinner, and so he made it his mission to always support families on Christmas so they can have a nice dinner, even though they don't have the money for it. You know, we've never been that poor, but like, I know what it feels like to be at the bottom of society. Well, not like the rock bottom, but definitely lower part. And it's not fun, you know. Even as a little kid I understood, and I could see my friends have all the toys I wanted, but I never got them because we didn't have the money. But that's gonna change, because I personally know I don't have like a specific number of money that I want on my bank account. Like I have you know, a minimum amount that's always on my bank account. That's 10,000. But like, I've reached that years ago, and I think 10,000 is just like the bare minimum, you know, if it's like, you know, back against the wall. But usually what I do is I saved 6 months ahead. That's what I first did, and once I got to 6 months, I saved 1 year ahead. So I have a safety fund for 1 year. That means with the money I have now, well, not the money I have now, but the minimum, you know, my minimum is that I can live off for 1 year without working, without making any money, and I can cover all my expenses, go on vacation and all that. Well, it's kind of hard to like estimate. You can do the same, you know. I would recommend between 3 and 6 months having money on the side for 3 to 6 months of your expenses, like fixed costs, you know, stuff like rent, food, barber, stuff like that, you know. And once you have that, you don't have many worries anymore. I don't know, you know, there's like these statistics where they say how much money you should have saved up by what age. But I think this is cap, honestly, because I looked at the statistics, and if those statistics would really be true, that would mean I'm in the 55 to 65 year old bracket, which makes absolutely no sense, because I'm not rich, you know. I'm not poor anymore, but I'm definitely not like super wealthy. So I think these statistics, I don't know what university did or whatever, who did them, but there's multiple different ones. Maybe I'll find some screenshots, but it's kind of ridiculous. I don't believe those statistics. But anyways, I think you're good no matter what age you are. But if you have 1 year, or let's say even 6 months, if you have 6 months of expenses covered, that's pretty good. The peace of mind it gives you is just so worth it, you know. And I've always lived quite frugal. I've never spent a lot of money. Ooh, look, I can't really see, it's a Fiat Spider, no, Alfa Romeo Spider. So I've always lived super frugal and didn't spend a lot of money. And like, you can ask my friends, I mean, you know, at times I was quite annoying, because you know, my friends were like, nah, let's go eat outside, and I was like, no, you know, I gotta save money. And they never understood, but I think now they start to understand, because financially I got ahead because of saving money, not because I made so much. Like that, as I said, there has been months where I made 5 figures, but like, I haven't done that for years, you know. And now I don't make more money than the average person, but I just save a lot, you know. I keep my expenses low. And now, whenever something comes up, like 2 weeks ago, I had to fix my car. It was only like, I don't know, 100, 200 bucks, I forgot, but somebody who doesn't have any money on the side and has like 200 francs a month extra expenses, you know, they break a sweat, because for them, this might mean that at the end of the month they don't have food, or that they can only eat spaghetti and rice. But I'm in the position where this does not happen anymore. Even if there's like a large expense coming, you know, for example, I had an accident with my car, and my car was totaled. I think I'm gonna tell that story another day, but the car was totaled. I had to pay a huge fine for like 2,500, 3,000, I forgot, but overall I lost around 15,000. And that was a couple of years ago. Back then I did not have as much money as I have now. Before that, I've also saved up, and at that time it was not like a significant chunk, but quite a big chunk of my of my total money was gone. You know, those 15,000, let's just say they hurt, you know, but it didn't end me. Like, for a second I was thinking this is the end, or I was thinking like, yeah, now I'm fucked. But then I quickly realized there is actually a good thing in this tragedy, because the first car I had I would have never sold because of the emotional connection to it. You know, that was my first car, and I was just not feeling it like selling it. So I would have ended up just keeping it and never getting a new car, because I would have been too emotionally connected to it. But I did want to get multiple cars, you know, and now I've had a couple of cars, but that would have not happened without that crash. And by the way, the 15,000, I mean, I realized, you know, I made the money back within 3 months, so it didn't really matter that much. Like, yeah, it hurt, you know, but long term, this is like a little downward curve in my financial situation. And if something like that happens to you, and like, it doesn't just have to be money wise, but if something bad happens to you, try to find one good thing, you know, because every bad thing comes with a good thing as well. But sometimes it's really hard to see, especially if you don't have a distance from what's happening, you know. But if you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, you might find something positive about it. Guys, I just saw the nicest Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. It was like red with white wheels. I think it was an Evo 8 or Evo 9. It was one of the newer ones from the 2000s. But yeah, the next time something bad happens to you, remember there is something good in it. You just have to see it, and it sets you apart. Like, it, first of all, it builds your character. Second of all, you learn something that you would have otherwise not learned. So you can make everything to your advantage. You can build something out of nothing. And I'm convinced that there is more good people out there than bad people. And for everything you give, you know, as Tony Robbins says, for everything you give, it comes back twice as good. So if you, and like, you have to have the right intentions, you know, giving just to receive is not working out. It's not going to work out. But if you give from your heart because you want to give, you know, because you're convinced that you're doing the right thing, that's what's going to give you the return. I like to drive up here sometimes. You know, there's all the nice houses. It's inspirational. Manifesting, you know? That's important. I believe in manifestation. I believe in law of attraction. Because it works. I've seen it many times. I don't know if it's law of attraction, or if it's God, or whatever it is. You know, they have a lot of, like, the houses here, they're not like insanely expensive looking, but I think they are expensive. You know, in Miami you have, or like other places in general, you have way crazier like villas, mansions, but they're built really cheap. You know, the houses in the States are like they're out of, I don't even know, I think out of wood. Like, they don't have solid foundations. I mean, if no, the houses in the United States, they just burn down if it burns. You know, in Switzerland, all the houses are solid, you know, concrete, waterproof, fireproof, bomb-proof. Like, you can't destroy them. That's why they cost so much. But in the United States, from what I've seen so far, you get way bigger, way crazier looking houses for way less money. I mean, for $1 million, Dude, for $1 million in Switzerland, you get an apartment. Like literally a 2-story apartment, maybe. Or like a loft or something. But in the United States, for $1 million, you get like a house in Miami with with ocean view, you know? I think that's what I've seen. But yeah, I think I'm done here. Maybe I go to the gym later, then you'll see me again. But otherwise, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.